So Prabhupada ki jai.
Bhaktivedanta Swami arrived in America during a decade of discontent. There's widespread dissatisfaction with America's war in Vietnam and with what some consider disillusioned by the establishment, the youth create a counterculture of their own. Around the time Bhaktivedanta Swami came, waves of Americans are breaking away from the status quo, searching for an alternative. Krishna was all along preparing something, Bhaktivedanta Swami later wrote, and he brought you to me one by one, sincere boys and girls, to be trained in Krishna consciousness. Now I can see that it is a miracle. Otherwise, one old man with only a few books to sell for barely getting food, how could he survive, what to speak of introducing a God-conscious movement in the materialistic society? For Bhaktivedanta Swami, these are happy days. Singing and speaking with the vigor of a young man, he brings the Hare Krishna movement into the public eye, by chanting in the parks, by distributing Back to Godhead magazine, by holding free Sunday love feasts. Many are kept. His hopes for the future expand without limit. The Hare Krishna movement has taken root. Convinced of the Krishna conscious philosophy, Srila Prabhupada accepts them for initiation, not on the basis of birth, as in the rigid Hindu caste system, but on the basis of qualification and sincerity. In the whole history of Indian spiritual life, no one has ever attempted something as bold and seemingly impossible, to transform Westerners into full-fledged devotees of Lord Krishna. But by his intense spiritual energy and compassion, Srila Prabhupada is successful beyond his own expectations. In Srila Prabhupada's eyes, Krishna consciousness is not an armchair philosophy or a part-time religion. It is a way of life, a transcendental culture that can end man's political, economic, and social problems. To realize his vision, Srila Prabhupada searched This is not an armchair philosophy or a part-time religion. It is a way of life, a transcendental culture that can end man's political, economic, and social problems. To realize his vision, Srila Prabhupada said,
That's fine. What to do? The rest you can watch at home. So, mostly the rest of the video describes Srila Prabhupada's achievements, which are very impressive. Books translated in more than 40 languages in his lifetime. He's seeing the distribution of tens of millions of his books. And 108 temples and 14 around the world tours. So his achievements are unlimited just in 12 years' time. Actually, it's very interesting that even CNN listed him as one of the top achievers, one of the 10 top achievers of the 20th century. And so, even judging by the external, like assets and finances, etc., and the expanse of his organization. And we'll be singing the poem which Srila Prabhupada wrote on the board of Jaladuta. Can you follow harmonium? Then you can. Yeah, you done that. And we need the songbook. And so, we'll sing this song, which is very deep and which helps us to understand the mood which enabled Srila Prabhupada to become so spiritually successful, spiritually, materially, socially, economically, and in every other respect.
Bhaktivedanta Swami arrived in America. The Krishna conscious tradition in its full richness. Prabhupada envisions God-centered, self-sufficient farm communities based on the principle of plain living and high thinking. The first such community begins on 133 acres in the hills of West Virginia. Prabhupada calls it New Vrindavan, after Krishna's place of pastimes in India. In 1972, Srila Prabhupada begins a Krishna-conscious primary school system in Dallas, Texas. Srila Prabhupada gradually trains his disciples in the time-honored tradition of deity worship to help them advance spiritually. He explains, I have introduced this system of deity worship among the non-believers, the atheists. Krishna cannot be understood with our present senses, but by his kindness he agrees to personally appear as the deity to accept our service. When we are attracted to the beautiful form of the deity, we will forget our attraction for material things. And as we serve the deity, we will develop pure love of God. Then our lives will be successful. No one should go hungry within a 10-mile radius of the temple, Prabhupada instructs. In what?
Okay, so this is called Hare Krishna technology in action. We're ready to conquer the whole world, as you can see.
Comes the world's largest distributor of books in the field of Indian religion, philosophy. For Srila Prabhupada, the transcendental knowledge in these books forms the basis of the Hare Krishna movement, a movement prophesied to grow for the next 10,000 years. 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya predicted that one day the holy name of Krishna would be heard in every town and village of the world. By the mid-70s, Hare Krishna becomes a household word. Prabhupada sees his society grow into a worldwide confederation with more than 100 temples, restaurants, institutes, schools, and farm communities. As a child, Srila Prabhupada celebrated Rath Yatra near his home in Calcutta with his plane. Years later, he is still celebrating the Rath Yatra festival, but now on the main streets of 20 large cities around the world, and with hundreds of thousands of disciples and guests.
So Prabhupada ki jai. So we've been lucky to have the opportunity to watch a little bit more of this video clip. So, is the text big enough? Maybe we can enlarge it. I'm not sure if everyone can see clearly. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, those who have songbooks, it's page 31. Bada kripa Kaila Krishna Adhamer prati Bara kripa Kaila Krishna Adhamer prati Kila geya nile heta Rahe begahati Kila geya nile heta Rahe begahati Achi kichu Kadratava Hey Hanuman Hey Achi Kichu Kadratava Nahe Keno Anibeno Hey ugrastane nahe kena Rajastama gunehera Sabaya chana Rajastama gunehera Vasudev katharuchi Nahe se prasana Vasudeva Tabe tava kripa haya haituki tabe yadi tava kripa haya haituki sakale sambhavaya tumi se katuki sakale sambhavaya tumi se katuki ki bhave bujave tara buje se rasa ki bhave bujave tara heta kripa kara brabhu karini jabasa heta kripa kara brabhu tomara ichaya tabo ayamaya sa Hai maya basa tamara ichaya nasa Mahaya parasa tamara ichaya nasa taba icha hai jadi tadera udhar hai jadi bujibe nischai tabe katha setama bujibe nischai Bhagavate katha se tavayavata dirahaya suni jadi kane bahar dira hai suni jadi sinvatam svakatha krishna punya shabana kirtana Ridantostoya bhadrani vidunoti suritsatam Shinvatam svakatha Krishna Punya sabana kirtana Ridantostoya bhadrani vidunoti suritsatam Nasta prayesha bhadrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki Nasta prayesha bhadrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobadayaschaye cetaitairanavidham titam sattve prasidati tada rajastamo bhavaha chaye itasa evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavatatva vijnanam mukta sangasa jayate sanamanaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidyante Sarva Samsayaha Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Dishtva Evatmani Shvare Rajastam haite tabe pai benistar Rajastam haite tabe pai benistar Hridayera bhadrasate gojivetaha Hridayera bhadrasate Ki kore pujava katha barase chahi Shudra hame dinahina kaun shakti nahi Atacha hai necha prabhu katha boli bahare De tamari cha prabhu koro hai bahare Akila jagat guru bachan se hamara akila Alankrita koribar kamatatama Alankrita Taba kripa hale mahor kata sudahabe Suniya sabara saka dukkha jeguchibe Aniya chodadi bravo amare na chahate Nacho, nacho, Prabhu, nacho se mate. Kastera putale jadha, nacho se mate. Bhakti nai, Vedana hai, name kubdhara. Bhakti Vedantana me besadakara. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagi Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. So this is very deep prayer, Srila Prabhupada rendered. And we'll read the translation. So, on September 17th, 1965, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada arrived in Boston on board the ship Jaladuta, carrying within his heart the orders of his spiritual master to spread the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beyond the borders of India, throughout the entire world. As he looked out upon Boston's bleak and dirty skyline, he could understand the difficulty of this sacred mission and felt great compassion for the godless people. Thus, with perfect humility, he composed this historic prayer in Bengali, praying for the deliverance of all fallen souls. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me, but I guess you have some business here, otherwise why would you bring me to this terrible place? Most of the people here are covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion. Absorbed in material life, they think themselves very happy and satisfied, and therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it, but I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? O Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. All living entities have become under the control of the illusory energy by your will, and therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation, and if a sober person repeatedly receives them with submission, submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desires for material enjoyment accumulated in the heart of the devotee. In the core of the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotion and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. They will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart will disappear. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore, I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it's up to you to make me a success or failure as you like. O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message, so if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel engladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, O Lord, make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith. In the holy name of Krishna, I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. And signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on board of the ship Jaladuta, Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, dated 18th September 1965. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this is very deep meditation, very deep prayer, full of genuine humility and understanding that only the Lord can make the impossible possible. Because Srila Prabhupada, as he said, my only problem my whole life was I could never think small. I only thought big, right? And so, actually this is something we should learn from our founder Acharya, because narrow-mindedness, small-mindedness, thinking about me and my little life and my little problems, is the recipe for, wasting your life. And actually, even successful people in the material world, they say, think globally, act locally, right? And so Srila Prabhupada is a perfect example of someone who was thinking globally and actually acting globally also. Because he's been specially empowered by the Supreme Lord. And so Srila Prabhupada's glories are unlimited, and there are so many books written on the subject. But I think it's worth to meditate on this question, why did Srila Prabhupada took so much risk in his advanced age and went all the way to the opposite side of the globe. Actually, if you see geographically, America is the furthest place on the planet from India, right? So that's why it took the whole month sailing on the ship to reach American shores. And we can understand that Srila Prabhupada was at a very advanced age. He turned 70 on the ship, and so it was very risky, and actually he did almost died. As Sumati Morarji said, Swamiji, where are you going? You're going to be you'll die there. Why are you going there to die? And so, yes, Srila Prabhupada nearly died on the ship, right? 2 heart attacks, back to back. And it's only by Krishna's mercy he survived. So, the question is there. Why, of all the places, America? You know, this planet has different places meant for different purposes. Like Srila Prabhupada would say that if people want to enjoy, they go to Paris. And if they want to get educated, they go to London. Not sure what's the purpose of coming to Sydney, though. There must be something. Maybe to go to Opera House or something. Anyway, different places are meant for different purposes. And so we can understand that of all the countries of the world, the most sacred country is India, right? Is there any doubt about it? There is no doubt in anyone's mind that India is the holiest country on the planet. One devotee said that even the shape of India resembles the shape of the heart, right? If you look at the map, it's like the heart. And it's situated right in the center, right? Actually in the upper central part, right? In the same way as heart is situated in the upper central part of the body. And so you can just see how many holy places are there outside of India. You can just pretty much count them on the fingers of one hand, right? Well, Jerusalem is there, Mecca is there, few other minor holy places you can still find. And now, if you look how many holy places are there in India, pretty much you can lose count of them, right? Everybody knows. Anywhere you go to India, you find some holy place. You know, it's like everywhere there are holy places. Everything is holy, right? Because, yeah, it's the holy land, holy India. And so those people who want to advance spiritually, they take birth in India. And that's why you see that in India so many people They are very, very serious and interested in spiritual practices. But then those people who don't want to advance spiritually, but those people who want to enjoy material life to the maximum extent, they take birth in America. It's like what is the most materialistic place on the planet? Any doubt about it? It's America, right? I remember Bhakti Maharaj is joking about it. He says that Americans are very intelligent people. They looked at the example of Europe and how Europe made that curve. First, of course, they were barbarians, right? As history teaches us. Then there was a Renaissance, kind of spiritual upliftment of Europe. But then they degraded again, right? And America looked at it, if you start as barbarian, go through that curve of becoming a little bit cultured and civilized and then degrade again, why waste time? Why just beat around the bush? Why can't we just go from barbarians into degraded? Straightforward, right? And this is what they did. Wild West. It didn't actually change much. If you go to the country, it's still Wild West. And so everybody knows that everything degrading comes from this amazing country. Right? And so not to waste too much time on the glories of America, but it always surprises me that this country is always defending its national interests like 20,000 miles away from its border. And somehow the national interests are always there in some country which is full of oil and natural resources, right? What kind of national interest they found 20 kilometers away or 20 miles away from home, it's like... And no one can question, right? Because it's America. America can do whatever hell they want, and no one can, even question them. Anyway, it's the country of, robbers and dacoits, so that's America, right? Killers and murderers and, engrossed in all kinds of sinful activities. And there are very, very few people who, think that maybe it's wrong. And so why Srila Prabhupada chosen of all the countries in the world, America? He was actually asked that question, why America? And he joked about it. He said, so many of my god brothers, they went to England and they failed there. They couldn't do much. So if I'll go and fail again, at least I'll fail in a new place, right? Just for change. But we know that he succeeded. And so how did he succeed? I mean, comparing to America, England is pretty cultured, pretty civilized in that sense, at least. There are some manners there, etc., right? Some values. But how did that happen? And anyway, before posing that question, it's important to understand why Srila Prabhupada chose America of all the places. And why did he risk his life so much by taking all this pain of going all the way there with no contacts? I mean, if, for all practical reasons, if he would actually go to London, he would get contacts there. Because his god brothers, they made so many attempts, and so he could find support, and he could find, some interested people there. Why didn't he go to London? He didn't even consider the option, if you think about it. Anyone knows the answer? Why America? Yes. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Good. And, Brahma, you had some... Yeah. Yeah, so many crazy theories are out there. Yeah, but, yeah. Why would CIA be interested in, like poor monk from India? That's, of course, all somebody's wild fantasies. But actually, it's funny how, devotees being accused of being CIA all over the world. Like in India when they came, they were suspected to be CIA agents, etc. And anyway, yeah. Yeah, but the most important point is very clear in everybody's mind, that because America was already the global power in Prabhupada times, and he wanted Krishna consciousness to go globally. And so he decided, if I risk my life, I better put my bet on the top number, right? And so, again, thinking big. If I win big. If I lose, I'll lose anyway. So it's up to Krishna. And so this is what he did. And it's very important for us to look at his example, because he is the best model for us of, perfect devotee, perfect surrender to Krishna, and perfect results, serious results. And I think this should be the meditation for tonight. How many of you want to achieve serious results in terms of Krishna consciousness? Not just for yourself, but for many, many people in the world. How many of you want to contribute to that? And so Srila Prabhupada's example in that sense is really, really important. That he went of all the places, he chosen the most powerful country in the world. Of course, the place in America he was invited was pretty basic battler, Pennsylvania. Anyway, this is what he had, and this is where he went. And then he tolerated so much inconvenience there. I mean, it's like you can imagine after sailing for a month, suffering so much, nearly dying after 2 heart attacks, you go and live in someone's house in a little room, and you know how American culture is great. They never leave their shoes outside of the house. Their, outdoor shoes they use not only in the house to walk everywhere, they even sleep with their shoes on. They sit and they put their feet with their shoes on the table, right, and talk to each other. So that's a glorious American culture. And so Prabhupada arrived just right in the middle of it, and everyone was smoking like hell at the time, including, even the wife of Gopal Agarwal. She was like chain smoker or something. And all her friends were like that also. And so when Srila Prabhupada arrived, they were interested to ask him philosophical questions, who is he, etc. And Prabhupada took that as preaching opportunity, but he was in his room and they would come with their shoes on and with lit cigarette and would sit and, smoking cigarettes. They were asking Srila Prabhupada some philosophical questions, and just for the sake of courtesy, they were asking, Swamiji, is it okay I'm smoking here? And you know what Prabhupada would respond? He would say, think nothing of it. That was his response. You can just imagine. After Vrindavan, after the purest and the holiest of all places, coming to this filthy environment and tolerating all this dirt and all these dirty habits, and even keeping his food products next to the meat in the same fridge, etc., etc. So, luckily, Paramatma kind of prompted them to understand after a while that's, probably not the right way to keep this money in these kind of conditions. So they actually rented a room in YMCA hostel for him, which was a big upgrade for him. YMCA, yeah. And so, but then other people started taking interest in the message, and he started getting invitations to different gatherings and functions, even spoke at the church. And so he was interviewed, and then article with his interview appeared in a local newspaper. So he started becoming like a star of Butler, right? So, and then what Srila Prabhupada did, he dropped everything suddenly, and he went to New York where he knew nobody, right? It was like leaping the abyss, right? And so, why did he do that? It's amazing, right? That first of all, he risked his life, and then after risking his life, he achieved little results, and he just brushes them aside to go to New York, right? And continues struggling very, very hard in New York. The kind of austerities Srila Prabhupada went through are apparently so painful, some of them, that Srila Prabhupada even refused to share them with his early disciples. He was just saying it was very hard, and Srila Prabhupada would never complain. unless it was very, he had to go through something outstandingly difficult. But we can just understand that by the fact that certain crazy things which happened to him after he established himself and which he didn't consider to be hardships, we can understand in comparing to that what he had to go through. For example, when he spent so much time and energy preparing his Bhagavad Gita manuscript for publishing, and he had very close and trusted disciple who took that manuscript and ran away from Srila Prabhupada and tried to basically stole the manuscript from Srila Prabhupada and tried to publish it under his own name and start his own movement. So, and then he failed and realized that Krishna will not allow this. And so he came back to Srila Prabhupada and he was very repentant, and it's interesting that Srila Prabhupada not only forgave him, but again gave him very prominent position in the movement. So you can imagine Srila Prabhupada was not considering that to be hardship. What kind of hardships he went through, right? And so of all the places, he established himself in Manhattan. It's like most powerful country and most powerful city and most powerful area in the city, right? And he made it very, very clear why he wanted to establish himself in Manhattan. He wrote 2 letters in this regard. He said, we have grand plans. We are in a very close vicinity to United Nations headquarters in New York, and we want to work with the United Nations, help them in spreading their peace propaganda, and by cooperation getting their help in the support for the Krishna consciousness movement. So Srila Prabhupada was envisioning serious partnership with the United Nations and all the world governments for spreading Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada had very, very big plans, and therefore the very first purpose of ISKCON, as we all know, is very, very, we can say, ambitious. It's very interesting that one devotee noted that there is not even a word God in that purpose, what to speak of Krishna. It's just very social in nature, and it says to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to the society at large and educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and achieve real unity and peace in the world. So this is the first purpose Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON for, that ISKCON would help the world to achieve real unity and peace. And of course we understand that 50 years down the line we still have to do some work to actualize this purpose. But it's extremely important for us to imbibe Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. And I think for all of us if we want to succeed, if we want to practically learn and develop Krishna consciousness, then the example of Srila Prabhupada's life is not less, and even maybe in certain way is more important for us than the philosophy he gives in his books, right? Because his example is the best for us to follow. And we know that Srila Prabhupada is a very special personality because he's been predicted in many scriptures, actually. And certain predictions are very interesting. Actually, some of them come from Puranas, that there was a prediction from Bhavishya Purana, which describes it's Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Brahma Vaivarta Purana describes how Ganga Devi came to the Lord, and she was saying that Kali Yuga is advancing and people are becoming more and more degraded and sinful, and they bathe in my waters and they pollute it with my sins, and it is increasing by day. So how will I protect myself? What do I do? And then the Lord says, don't worry, very soon there will be a special personality coming after 5,000 years from my appearance. There will be very special personality coming, and he will be my mantra upasaka, one who is popularizing chanting of my holy name, and he will create so many devotees by his power, and then all these devotees will start bathing in your waters, and just by the touch of their bodies your waters will become purified from all the sins of all people who bathe in these waters, and the number of these people will be increasing. And in this way there will be a golden age within the Kali Yuga. I think this is like really good news for us, that we do not really live in Kali Yuga anymore, because 531 years ago the golden age of Lord Chaitanya started, right? And we can understand that with the appearance of Srila Prabhupada and his mission, he really accelerated the process of the development of the golden age, and this golden age will last for 10,000 years. For 5,000 years it will increase, and then for 5,000 years it will gradually decline. And so this is what's been predicted here. And so Srila Prabhupada is named by Lord Krishna as his mantra upasaka, as his powerful representative who is spreading the holy name. And so we know that this prediction came true. And then in Chaitanya Mangala by Srila Lochandas Thakur in the mid-centuries, there is another very interesting prediction. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, Ebename Sankirtan Tikshna Kadayalaya Antara Asura Jiver Pelebe Katiya Yadi Papi Chadi Dharma Durideshiyaya Morasanapati Bhakta Yagre Tathaya. Taking the sharp sword of the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I will root out and destroy the demonic mentality in the hearts of all the conditioned souls. For those sinful people who have given up religious principles in far-off countries, I will send my Senapati Bhakta to give them Krishna consciousness. Senapati Bhakta means military field commander, devotee, general, right? I will send my general to those far countries to give them Krishna consciousness, to give them the chanting of the holy name. And we know who was that devotee general, Senapati Bhakta, Srila Prabhupada. And so there are many other predictions from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In 1800s, he predicted in Sajjana Toshini magazine, he wrote an article in Nityananda, which is called Nityananda Suradaya. Soon there will be a time when chanting of Krishna's name will be heard in England, France, Russia, Germany, and America. A personality will soon appear to preach the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and move unrestrictedly over the whole world with his message. Right? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also wrote in 1895, just a year before Srila Prabhupada's appearance, that Sriman Mahaprabhu did not descend with his associates to deliver a certain number of human beings in the land of India, but rather his purpose was to deliver and uplift all living beings in all countries of the world by practicing the eternal religion of all souls. In the world by practicing, in the same article, Bhaktivinoda questioned, when will that day come when all greatly fortunate souls take up banners, drums, and hand cymbals and cause the ecstatic waves of Harinam Kirtan and the singing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's holy name to rise in the streets of their towns and cities. And so there are many more predictions about Srila Prabhupada's special mission in the scriptures, so we can understand that in the same way as we accept anyone on the basis of scripture, that Srila Prabhupada is also not an exceptional, he is exceptional personality, but we accept that he is authorized because there are so many references in scriptures to his mission. And so, and this is what he taught us, right? That we should not accept anything blindly. We should accept only those things which are confirmed in scriptures, predicted and confirmed in scriptures. And so the same principle is helping us to understand his position. And so, but the most important thing is that Srila Prabhupada, despite of his position and his empowerment, displayed so much humility and so much tolerance, and he was so broad-minded. There are so many amazing stories about Srila Prabhupada, how broad-minded he was. One very interesting account described by his very famous disciple in Bombay, who started his path in Krishna consciousness not in a very proper way, we can say, because he was a pickpocket, professional pickpocket. And when he came first time to see Srila Prabhupada, he saw that Srila Prabhupada has a golden Rolex watch on his wrist. Of course, Srila Prabhupada was not purchasing these things for himself, but so many disciples, just because they wanted to please him, they were buying him very expensive things. Srila Prabhupada didn't keep them for long. He would give them away. He was a sannyasi, why he needed all this stuff. But just to encourage one who gave the gift, he would use the gift for a little while, at least, right? And so he had this. He had quite a few golden Rolex watches given to him. It's like Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He one time was criticized. You're a sannyasi. Why are you wearing this golden Rolex watch on your wrist? And Maharaj smiled and he said, yes, I am wearing this golden Rolex watch and I will continue to wear it my whole life because this was Srila Prabhupada's personal gift to me. So, which is of course much more valuable than any golden rubies, personal gift from Srila Prabhupada. Very special. And so, this boy who was a pickpocket, he saw that golden Rolex watch and he decided, I must do everything I can to steal that watch. And so let me pretend to be a devotee for that sake. And then he started coming to the temple and doing a lot of services, and he made sure that he became very closely associated with Srila Prabhupada and tried to serve him personally to the best he could, just to win his trust. And Srila Prabhupada was very encouraging. He was appreciating his services, etc., and he kept himself very close. He kept this boy very close, and this boy was thinking, finally, I'm getting the opportunity. It works out. And then, at some point, Srila Prabhupada, he was saying, yes, you're very fortunate, you're Indian, you're understanding the value of Krishna consciousness, so just dedicate your life to serving Krishna, and you have great potential, and I'm sure you can do many things in Krishna's service. And so I want you to go to some place, to some other place, and start preaching Krishna consciousness there. And this boy was a little bit disturbed. Now Srila Prabhupada is sending him away, so he came so close to the watch, and now he is getting separation from the watch. And he was thinking, what do I do? I cannot say no to Srila Prabhupada, but if he'll send me away, how will I realize my plan? And then Srila Prabhupada looked at him and he said, and just to encourage you in your mission, I'll give you a gift. So he takes the watch from his wrist and he says, this is for you. And when that happened, that boy had a change of heart. And he broke down crying. And he said, Srila Prabhupada, I have to admit that I'm actually not a devotee. I was only pretending to be a devotee to get I wanted to steal your Rolex watch. But now you gave it to me with such an ease, I realize you completely detached from these things because you're a pure devotee. And I wanted to commit such an offense of stealing from you, etc. So he was very remorseful. But Srila Prabhupada smiled and he said, don't worry. I knew that from the start, that you wanted the watch, and therefore I'm giving you the watch so that you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. It's yours. And why do you have to worry about these things? Just dedicate your life to Krishna, and Krishna will look after you. You'll never feel any need in your life if you serve Krishna. And so this is what this boy did. and he became quite successful in his life, in business and many other things. And besides that, if any of you watched the Haridas Thakur movie, this devotee produced that movie, etc. And he had many, many interesting experiences in his life. But he said, as Srila Prabhupada said, everything came true. He dedicated himself to devotional service, and Krishna provided him with everything. And then he said he lost appreciation of that, and then he left the devotee association for a while, and then he went through a lot of trouble and then came back, and again became successful. So like that, he went through a series of lessons. But this is really wonderful account, which shows how much Srila Prabhupada was interested in the people, and how his pure vision of one's spiritual potential was helping those people who would never otherwise develop spiritually, grow in their Krishna consciousness. Just, to please Srila Prabhupada. And so, this is another wonderful example. And we can understand that everything we have in our lives is actually by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, because of his sacrifice. And it's very interesting that sometimes you come across people who are not like devotees, but they knew Srila Prabhupada a little bit, and they have so much appreciation for him. Like I came across one man in London when I was distributing books, and he said, "Oh, I know your main guru, elderly Indian man." I was thinking, whom he is talking about? Elderly Indian man. And then it dawned on me. I was thinking, maybe he's still talking about Srila Prabhupada. And then I showed him the picture, and he said, yeah. I know him very well, from New York. I met him when I was a teenager. So how he is doing? I had to tell him, he already left this world many years ago. And he said, "Oh, this is so sad. He was the best person I ever came across in my life." He said, "Well, we were teenagers and we were very surprised how this elderly man is standing in the snow and singing Hare Krishna, and apparently the cold doesn't affect him in New York, like very severe winters." And we were coming and talking to him, and he was always so nice to us. And he told me two things I will always remember. He said, many people can say different things about him, because, famous people are always target of envy, right? And so envy means criticism. And so many people can say many things about him, but don't believe any of this. I knew him personally. He was the best man I ever came across in my life. And then he said another thing. He said, now you are Hare Krishnas, are all over the world, everybody knows you, but it's only because that elderly man was standing in the snow and singing Hare Krishna and went through all this just to help you to become whom you became. And so this is really important for us, that Srila Prabhupada's blood, sweat and tears are in the foundation of our good fortune, and actually we really owe to him. And the best way to repay our debt to Srila Prabhupada is by helping him to achieve his purposes, which are very, very clearly outlined. 7 purposes of ISKCON, so it's really important for all of us to know all these 7 purposes. And everyone has certain favorite purposes, and my most favorite purpose is the first purpose of ISKCON, because I think this is the foremost purpose, because Srila Prabhupada really wanted Krishna consciousness to be recognized and appreciated widely in human society, which is not really happening yet. And I am trying very hard to facilitate those devotees who can make it happen. And for this purpose we are opening a special training school in Mayapur. And the purpose of this training is to help devotees in the establishment of social spiritual projects for helping people to advance spiritually. And I can say that Krishna is very merciful, and I have no qualification even to be in this movement, what to speak of doing this service. But by Srila Prabhupada's mercy and by the mercy of our spiritual masters and other Vaishnavas, things are still moving ahead. And we'll say a little more about the school and the project maybe in future classes. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, is the 2 last days of my stay in Sydney. But this is something which really is highly appreciated. I got the feedback from the members of Governing Body Commission. They wanted to come as students to the school. Like that, so you can understand that it's something quite inspiring for many devotees. And so, yeah, I need maximum blessing from all the Vaishnavas to make it successful. And just to end the class, we have special Maha Prasad from Srila Prabhupada. That's part of Prabhupada's sannyas cloth from the 70s, and everyone can come and touch it to your forehead. And I actually have some special treat. I have few more pieces of that cloth, and for those devotees who would be willing to help with the project, I could share that Mahaprasad with you as well. Alright, so we'll finish here. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And before Deity Darshan, you can get Srila Prabhupada's blessings from his sannyas top piece. Hare Krishna. Haribo. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Everybody got? Anyone else missing? Okay, so we're going to